Welcome to the Jameson Files. I'm Carrie Weber, and I'm happy to be with you on my own today. It's time for a little one-on-one, because today we're going to talk about a topic that's really near and dear to my heart, and that is coming up on the forefront of conversations even more frequently than ever, and that's culture. How to create a culture that counts. So often in the last several years, I have been having conversations with doctors and practice leaders that are frustrated, either on the amount of team turnover, not being able to get a team that clicks and sticks, but also to have the issues of team engagement, how to motivate the team to go above and beyond that minimal acceptable execution of responsibilities. So let's talk today about how to create a culture that counts. Let's start with where we are now according to studies. Gallup polls measure employee engagement on a regular basis. And according to their reports as of May of 2025, employee engagement worldwide is declining. In fact, what they found in a recent report is that 79% of employees are disengaged at work. So what does disengaged mean? And the gist of it is that disengaged team members are delivering what's possibly minimal acceptable work at best. They may be clocking in and clocking out, but they're doing whatever the minimal required tasks are and not really leaning into their work, not taking initiative, not falling in love with the work that they do or the purpose that they serve. In fact, a word that is used, or a buzz term that is used quite frequently, is quiet quitting, where we are showing up, but we are emotionally not there anymore. So this is what we as dental practices, as a part of the worldwide work culture, are faced with today, that almost 80% of employees are stepping into their work days disengaged. It's a little scary, isn't it? So when we're trying to do something bigger, better, when we're wanting to grow and pursue that ideal practice vision, it's very difficult to do so in our dental practices when we're trying to lead a disengaged team. And how do we start to bring back to life our team if we're struggling in this? And this is where I want to talk really in a focused way today about culture. Because even though I know that our purpose in dental practices is the clinical care we provide to those patients, we cannot do the dentistry we want to do. We cannot see the patients we want to see. We cannot have the work days we want to have if we are dealing with a disengaged culture. So as leaders that are out there listening to this podcast episode, I want to encourage you to take a seat, take a breath, and take a step back, and let's determine today, how close are you to the high-performing culture that you desire for your practice? And what do we need to do to get you closer to the culture that you want or need? Simon Sinek says this: your culture is created by default or design. Your culture is created by default or design, which means you have a culture one way or the other. You're either accidentally living in whatever culture has come to life in your practice. It may be a disengaged one, it may be a toxic one, whatever the case may be, or there is an intentionality behind what you are leading and establishing in your business. So I want you to create a culture by design. And the only way we can do that is to start working more intentionally, communicating more intentionally, leading more intentionally, versus the accidental leadership that we see so often in dental practices today. The pandemic did us no favors when it came to the engagement of employees. Depending on what practice you're in or how you led your practice through your pandemic experience determines likely what you've had to recover from in your team members' engagement level and relationship with the practice and with you as the leader. My hope is that you did that well, that you led with integrity, that you led through communication, that you stayed connected with your teams, but we're 5 years beyond that now. So whatever happened for you, and whatever you're living with today is most likely the results of the seeds you planted or didn't plant back then. So here's the good news. It's never too late to create the culture that you want for your practice. But I need you to understand that culture building is a marathon, not a sprint. There is no easy button to starting to build out of wherever you are today the culture that you want for tomorrow. It takes clarity, intention, communication skills, and consistency in leadership to build the culture you desire. So if you don't know where you're going, if you don't know what you want, if you don't know what right looks like for your practice culture, and you aren't doing the work to nurture that and develop that, how will your team know? How will we as team members of a practice know what's expected of us, know what success looks like, know what healthy communication skills are, know what's expected of us if you don't tell us? So in order to start building the culture of your dreams, you have to clarify your vision of what that is. Set clear expectations with your team and then begin to reflect that as leaders and expect that from your team consistently. Culture building is a marathon, not a sprint. Now, my friends over at Gallup, again, share this when they talk about employee engagement. That according to Gallup, only 2 out of 10 employees feel connected to their company's culture. Let me say that again. Only 2 out of 10 employees feel connected to their company's culture, which means you have a lot of people flying blind, disconnected, not feeling supported, not knowing what right looks like, not being poured into and developed to be better. You aren't doing anything. You're being accidental. So if you think that your whole team is just in love with your business and your practice, but you don't have your finger on that pulse, you're lying to yourself. Assumption is the lowest form of communication. So if any part of your practice culture and team performance is based on your assumption of what's happening or what's not happening, my friend, you have work to do. So remember, marathon, not a sprint. It's time to help connect the dots for our team and start to create a team that is aligned to your vision. So, Carrie, what is culture? What does this mean? Culture is a living, breathing entity that must be fed and nurtured. It can happen accidentally, like I said. And so whatever you want to see happen and to stay relevant in your practice culture-wise, you have to be nurturing that consistently and constantly. As Gallup says, culture is how we do things around here. This is what's important to us. So the level of engagement, growth, and accomplishment of your vision is in direct correlation to the health of your culture. So let me say that again. The level of engagement you have from your team, the growth and accomplishment you have in regards to your vision is in direct correlation to the health of your work culture. It's the living representation of your purpose, your vision, and your values for your business. So, if I were to ask your team members today, what is your doctor or your owners or your leaders' vision for this practice, and what is their expectation of you as an individual team member in your place in that vision? How many of your team members could answer that question for me? I need to tell you, whenever I ask that question to teams and team members in my lectures across the country, very rarely do I have people raise their hand that say, I know what the vision is, I know what the expectations are of me, I'm on board for this. Very rarely. One time in a lecture so far did I have an entire team that raised their hand that said, I know my doctor's vision. Once. And so that tells me the number one thing I want doctors to take out of the courses I do on team and culture is to get clear on your vision and to communicate your vision and expectations to your team. Do you know how many times I talk to doctors who have issues with an employee and we go round and round and round about the issues that they're having with this team member, and when I ask them the straightforward question of, have you ever had a conversation about your expectations of this person and their role in the practice, the answer is so frequently no. So we are frustrated, we are resentful, we are thinking about all these issues we're having with employees and with team members, and yet we have never clearly communicated vision, expectations of performance, or clarification of roles and responsibilities to set that person up in the first place to be successful. So if you're sitting there waiting for the world to feed you great team members that are just going to figure it out on their own, I got news for you, buddy. You've got to do work too. If you want to create something that attracts people to you of that caliber, your reputation will precede you. Over time, your community will begin to know what kind of work culture you are. So you need to put in the work to do that. If you want to be that high-performing team member magnet, then you have to become everything that makes you something that a team member wants to come be a part of. It takes work. Marathon, not a sprint. So, how do you create a healthy culture? There are a few elements in business that I want you to take a look at, and I want you to evaluate, establish, and work on in your business in order for you to create that healthy culture that you're looking for or that you need. Interestingly, so many of these would be considered soft. These are not clinical CE courses that help you do the dentistry better. These are not clear, established, standard operating procedures that help you meet your practice goals. So often these are overlooked by 80% of dental practices. I would go to the Pareto principle, that 20% of what you do provides 80% of your productivity. I would say 20% of dental practices across the country understand how important work culture is, and they benefit from it and have that 80% productivity because of it. Are you part of the 20%? This is what the 20% does. They have leadership alignment. They are transformational versus transactional. They are building a group of leaders that work cohesively toward a common set of goals. And I'll actually get a little more specific in this one. If you are a partner owner, or if there are multiple owners in your practice, if you as partners are not aligned in your vision and expectations, you will struggle. Because there will be confusion among your ranks in your team of who do I follow? Who do I need to meet the expectations of? Or if I don't like what I hear over here, I bet I can go over here and get the answer I want. This happens all the time. So if you want positive change or improvement in your practice, culture or otherwise, the leaders have to be aligned first. We also would be purpose, mission, and vision led. You're clear on what your purpose is, your why. You're clear on your mission of what, and you are clear on your vision of where. And you lead to those things. We are led by values. We have core values. These are the important pillars of our practice, of our business, that we measure performance on and our relationships on and our decisions on. These are the things we reflect and expect in how we work together as teammates with each other and how we take care of our patients, your core values. We provide effective communication. We are clear communicators, we are mature communicators, we are effective communicators, and we are continuously developing our communication skills, both in our patient-facing communication and our team communication. Something that I've thought a lot about in the last month, it speaks to this. And what I'm calling it, I don't know if this is a thing or if I just have made something up. but I'm calling it professional maturity. We talk about maturity a lot. Oh, well, they're not mature, they're not whatever. You know, we mature as human beings as we age and all the things. But I think you can be my age and older and still be professionally immature. And so something that I've put a lot of thought into is what constitutes professional maturity. And there's a piece of emotional intelligence that is important to professional maturity. It's our ability to communicate, our ability to align to vision and values, our recognition that a rising tide lifts all boats, so there's an abundance mindset among team, to what I call becoming a coachable culture. You can feel comfortable to coach me, and I can feel comfortable to coach you. Because the goal is that I want you to be just as successful as I am. There's no scarcity mindset happening here. So these are some of those pieces of professional maturity that I believe are really important. And the communication skills piece is so key to professional maturity. So if you feel like, man, there are places that I need to grow, that level of individual awareness is also a key element to professional maturity. Are you even aware of the things that you need to improve both individually, and are we aware of the things we need to improve on as a team? Because in order for us all to feel professional fulfillment, we have to be a part of something that is a combination of individuals committed to excellence and a team committed to excellence. If we don't have both of those entities in our businesses, it's very difficult for people to experience professional fulfillment. So you need to think about this. How professionally mature are we as a team, and am I as a leader to help build the culture that you're looking for? There's a lot of generational things that we need to consider in understanding our teams, and I would encourage you to study. Oh my goodness, there's so much out there. You just have to Google it and understand what are the nuances of each generation that we need to understand as a part of who we are. The older generations are so rooted in their identity is so tied to their work so frequently that there was more long-term, long-running employments for the older generations for a long time. More younger generation employees move from place to place, but the truth of the matter is they're moving for a couple of reasons. They're moving to find meaning. They're looking for meaning and purpose in their work, and they're looking for the right types of incentives to motivate them. The benefits are important. So it's a combination of money and meaning that we have to find a perfect balance in. And as we in the dental profession are finding the cost of running our practices is increasing. ADA studies for the areas of concern for 2025, one includes finding new team members and the other includes the costs of running the practice, are two of the primary concerns of areas that they kicked off 2025 on for dental practices and the practices that were surveyed. So it's important that you as a business person from an operations standpoint determines, what do I need to do to lift the productivity of my practice so that I not only can create an environment that motivates a high-performing team, but I can also afford to reward my high-performing team. A model of success, some of the pieces in a model of success is that we work with a team that helps us become as productive and profitable as we can, and we share in the reward of that work well done. So what can you do to create a path and set goals that allow you and your team to work hard together and share in the reward of work well done? So do the work to learn and understand the different generations in your team. Simply pigeonholing us based upon the year we were born and saying, oh, well, Carrie, you're a Gen Xer, so you're whatever, you know. Okay, that's great. How is that going to help us work better together? Understanding our behavioral styles, understanding where we come from in our age differences, and embracing those things and helping us work more cohesively as a team. Boy, talk about professional maturity. If you can find a team that wants to grow and develop and understand and respect each other from Gen Z to a boomer, you've got something really special there where people can learn from each other, can grow grow with each other and help each other be as successful as possible. So that leadership alignment, purpose, mission, vision-led, values-led. So when you think about vision, I want you to think about these types of questions that I want you to not only get clear on, but once you're clear on those, I want you to communicate this to your team. It's never too late to get everyone on the same page. Because when do I want to know that I have a person on my team that doesn't want to pursue the vision I've established? 100% right now. Because you cannot grow and move in the direction you want to go when you're dragging people behind you that don't want to go there. They don't want to go there. So you need to create a team that is aligned to your vision. Where are you going? What are the goals? What are you going to implement this year? What are questions and concerns that are brewing? Why are we taking this path? What will change? What will you keep? What will you stop? What will you add? These are the things that we need the team to understand where we're going and where we're growing, because practices evolve. You're going to go paperless. You're going to incorporate CAD/CAM. You're going to add a new location. You're going to add a new provider. You're going to eliminate a relationship with an insurance plan. There are a lot of things that you may start doing or stop doing that's going to change the trajectory of the practice, but it will also change the expectations of how we need to do the work that we do. And so we need the team to not only understand where we're going, but why we're going there, what we're going to do to get there, the why behind the what. Cast that vision. If you need some guiding questions, you can email us go on the Jameson website, jmsn.com, and ask for the vision worksheet. And we'll be happy to send that to you so that you can do some self-work to help you get clear on that vision of what right looks like, so that you can share that with your team and set correct and clear expectations from this point forward. What are your goals? What are your expectations? What does right look like? What are your goals? What are your expectations? What does right look like? Remember, all leadership need to align to the vision first. Then the team alignment follows. I've got to get all doctors and team leaders on the same page and aligned and in agreement. And then we, as a united front, support the team, communicate to the team, and get the team aligned. If I have a misaligned leadership team, we're stuck. Any of you ever work with a leadership team that's not all on the same page? It's chaos and craziness. It's crazy town. And we're just stuck and we're circling around like this, and nobody's getting anywhere. And so that's when burnout, frustration, resentment, all of these issues start to click into place, because we have no true, clear, aligned direction. So leadership aligned first, team aligned next. Whatever your vision is, whatever your purpose is, whatever your values are, whatever those pieces are that you get clear on, you put this message on repeat. You live it, you breathe it, you feed it. Having this conversation with the team one time does not count. It is a constant message that you are speaking, that you are living, that you are reflecting, that you are making decisions on. It becomes a manifesto of sorts, a mantra that we all speak and share and understand, to the point that you can, within moments, know if a person is directly in conflict with what's most important in your organization. That is the root of building healthy culture. It starts with the leadership, and then we create a group of leaders that are working cohesively toward that vision and those goals. So get clear on your vision, your values, your purpose. Put that message on repeat. You speak it, you live it, you hold people accountable to it, you execute from it, You reflect it in everything that you do. And the next thing you know, that consistency starts to grow roots. And that's when you become that magnetic practice that every superstar team member in your community wants to be a part of. We're going to be launching on the Grow pathway, the Grow online learning platform, a new pathway in the coming months on culture. So I'm going to dive even deeper into this topic then, and I can't wait for you to join me on the platform when that launches. But in the meantime, we have resources through the Jameson files. We have interviews with other key opinion leaders on this topic, and we have articles online as well. I want you to do the work and decide, where are you now compared to where you want to be? And what are the messages that you need to get out to your team? And what are the things you need to do more consistently? And remember, if you haven't had that clear conversation about what right looks like with your team, that's where you need to begin. So let's roll up our sleeves. Let's do the hard work. Get your stretches in, because it's a marathon, not a sprint. And you are going to get clear on your vision, and you're going to commit to that vision and be the leader that your team needs you to be to consistently direct them in the direction that you want to go. If you have the right people on your bus, in the right seats, going in the right direction, doing the right things in the right way, the only direction you have left to go is up. So here's to creating a healthy work culture that counts. Good luck. Thanks for being with me. Be well, and I'll see you next time.